Hello, today I'm going to be trying to get the S rank ending for Clock Tower on the Super Famicom. So, unlike the last two videos that I made to get the C and G ending, I guess, or H ending, yeah, I'm going to be a lot more direct with how I'm going to go about this. So, I'm going to pretty much be ignoring a lot of the fun stuff, I guess, for the sake of making this video a lot shorter, whereas the first two videos were kind of made to showcase a lot more of the game. Um, Again, there's so much in the game, I can't even cover all of it. I highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, I'll get started. So we'll go on quick start. We already had the intro in the last two videos, so it just kind of drops us off here where Jennifer is looking for the rest of the girls. So I'll head straight to it. It's a fun little Easter egg that sometimes the curtains here will actually blow, and this scared the crap out of me my first time seeing it. It'd blow and like open up and then close. I wish I could get that on camera, but it'd take a really long time just sitting there. So here we are. Let's check to see if this is where the key is for the West Wing. No dice. Okay. That's all good. We can go over here to grab the perfume. We don't really need to interact with the parrot. It can be helpful though. If you would get chased by Scissorman into this room and you do not capture the parrot using the bed sheet, it'll actually alert the Scissorman and say like, "Hey, look down here, look down." Um, and Scissorman will be like, "Oh, okay," and then like just jump and stab you here. They won't jump, but regardless. So that is a little thing that honestly tricked me also when I first played this game because I was not expecting the parrot to be in cahoots with Scissorman. This game can be a little bit mean if you don't know what you're doing, and it'll just like be like, "Oh, you think you solved the puzzle, but you didn't." So here we're brought with the choice again to go either here and see Laura, where she's in the shower, dead, but I'm gonna decide to go straight instead. So there's Scissorman again. This time Anne is dead instead of Laura. Let's see, can I juke him out here? Okay. Sometimes the AI is a little bit easy to cheese for my taste. He'll be heading up here, since this is probably the quickest way to go about this. I see as I'm slowly crawling up these stairs. Scissorman isn't really close behind me. I feel like that is another thing. If you know what you're doing, Scissorman is hardly even a threat as much as he is just an inconvenience. It kind of ruins it when you kind of play the game too much. This is why I like introducing and watching other people play this game, even though I still make stupid decisions like checking a door that's locked. Up we go. You can also use this one can of insecticide right on Scissorman in order to like throw it at him, and then it'll cause him to like leave because it activates the insecticide and starts fogging up the whole room. Only issue is then it makes it so it's a little difficult for you to breathe, and then you start taking damage. So I prefer to jump over this little what would you call this, wardrobe? I don't know. Closet. It's interesting how it's put there. Anyway, we got to check that in order to push this box up to it, which is, again, kind of silly. No good. Too high climb. Well, you just did, but either way. There's some pretty good pull-up strength, though. I don't think I could do that myself. So we have the robes. So we have the perfume and the robe, so we're good to go down into the cave now and get past the dog. I don't think I will need that. I might eat my words and want the rope, but for the sake of being quick about this, and I'm gonna make dumber decisions later that'll waste time. But yeah. Once again, I'm gonna try and get the bird's nest here, but because it wasn't in the West Wing key was not in the box, we now know that it is in here because it's in one of those two random places that's decided at the beginning of each playthrough. Excuse me. Here we are. Now we can go on to the West Wing when we're ready. We also have the insecticide, so we can grab that other key in the kitchen. There's a way you can actually play this a little bit quicker by taking a risk. This Mary shows up in one of the rooms completely by random chance. Last time I was lucky and wasn't able to see her, but then I demonstrated when you could see her. So there is a way to make it so that you don't actually fall for her trap, and I will probably showcase that. It's probably the main thing I'll kind of go out of my way for. That's the garage. There's no reason to go there outside of getting those endings. And maybe I think there's a way to escape Scissor Man if you go down that route. Like you can hide in the car and stuff like that. I don't need the ham because I won't be going to the jail cell this time because that actually gives you the bad ending if you go through it. Or the worst ending, rather. It's not necessarily bad. So I now have the gold key. I won't use that quite yet. I will go on ahead and get that information I need. I will go up these stairs here. Excuse me. Here we go up these super slow stairs. So this time, I don't know if you remember from last time, but we watched Anne die because she fell through the window because she was chased by Scissor Man, presumably, or maybe Miss Mary. Or maybe she just fell. It's not really clear necessarily. There's a lantern where she was. But regardless, and we see that because we looked out the window when we were walking by here, and that caused her to die. The way you can prevent this, if you hear a scream outside the window, is to just not look out the window and she will be alive. It's kind of like a I didn't see you die, so you didn't die scenario, but I totally heard you scream and fall to your death. It's kind of dumb how that works. And naturally, if you don't know to look at the window, then you'll just hear a scream that's completely unexplained. But if you do know to look at the window, you'll naturally do that, and then just get a worse outcome. So it kind of just rewards you for not knowing how to do it right, I guess. I don't know how to describe it in a better way. I'm not making this a very good speedrun. I am very slow at this. I have tried speedrunning this in the past, and I didn't go well. I'm not good at doing games quick. As you can see, there's nothing in this spot here that needs to be checked. There's a random chance that when you turn on the sink that maggots will fall out, or blood. We can get this ceremony key while we're here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fight this doll again. I don't know if we'll be able to make it with this red health, actually. That worked. Jennifer just tanked it. Either way, I'm gonna go on here. There's the other like office there. There's no reason to go there necessarily. A lot of the rooms, once you know what they go to and what they have, a lot of them are kind of mundane. And again, with some of them randomized, it is kind of frustrating when you're trying to get to a room that you want to get to, but then you just see one that's completely random that you don't need to go to. Hmm. We cannot interact with this, but it is interesting how Jennifer recognizes that. You'll not go in here. Now, previously I kind of demonstrated. Oh wait, I gotta check if Scissorman's in this box. Oh, good. It's just Garfield. Again, I like this cat model. It makes me feel cozy. Um, but yeah, I kind of demonstrated that there was nothing in this room in the last playthrough. That's because we actually encountered Miss Mary early. If you haven't seen Miss Mary yet, then something unique happens here. You go break down the wall again. Just give it 2 good whacks and then you're good. Do it. Very nonchalant about this, and I love that. So now, instead of it having absolutely nothing here, we can now interact with the wall. And we know that this air is not good. That's interesting. It kind of reveals there that the master of the house is not Simon. Simon Barrows, of course, being the person who's trapped in the cage from the last playthrough. And there's the two newborn babies previously mentioned. I won't check this quite yet. Yeah, it's just a skeleton. So now it's Walter Simpson. This person being, of course, Jennifer's father. There we go. So now that we have knowledge that, I guess we could take a rest here. Now that we have knowledge of, actually, I don't think we need rest. We can tank through it. Now that we have knowledge that Miss Mary is not the greatest person, and we know that she is somewhat responsible for Walter's death here, trapping him in here. Now we know not to trust her as quickly. So we'll go and head back and check out that room. It's a bit of a long walk. I do find it interesting how Walter is actually talked about being here. Of all people, it's Jennifer's father. Um, what's interesting, and this is kind of like some deeper lore in the game, the reason why this is because apparently it's revealed in like a side novel that Jennifer is actually related to the Barrows distantly. And this kind of ties into more of like Clock Tower 2's lore. And this is nothing that's ever brought up in the games. So it's pretty interesting there, as to like why they chose like to adopt Jennifer and why they chose Walter Barrows, or not Walter Barrows, Walter Simpson for this medical procedure or giving birth to the kids. But yeah. So here we have Miss Mary again. And now, naturally, we used to just run straight up to Miss Mary and look for help. And Miss Mary offered us a glass. But now she sees that we're concerned. And she's also holding a knife. And I am out of here. But I pressed the wrong button and ran right towards her. Whoopsie daisies. Better not do that again. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we're gonna go right back into that. Okay, where was I? Okay, she just isn't here. I kind of wanted to see that cutscene again. Every moment. Either way, you leave. She doesn't chase you necessarily. Um, we can also interact with this suit of armor, but because we did not see Laura die yet, she'll actually be in the suit of armor and collapse and die. So there's that for you. We're gonna go head down these stairs. Yeah, I really do think it's nifty how discovering Miss Mary's like evilness uh is like a pretty nifty like game mechanic here where you have to like actually like figure that out, otherwise you're just instantly trusting. I feel like it's kind of obvious, at least from like a viewer's perspective, that there's something going on here with her and that I would probably not trust her. Given the fact that I walk in here and she's immediately like, hey, be quiet, hey, go do this, go do that, and then just dips. She has kind of like a very negative tone, at least in the intro, from my perspective. Maybe that's just hindsight. I don't know. Either way, we're in the religious study. I don't believe it's actually necessary to click on the books here. It is necessary to click on these books, though. Previously, we tipped over this thing and noticed that there was a vase hidden here. But in this playthrough, it gives a very cryptic hint about a demon idol. Apparently, in Clock Tower Rewind, like the more official translation, the hint is much more cryptic, whereas here it just straight up says the idol is on a statue. So I don't know if you remember, but there was like a little statue that we could interact with that Jennifer wouldn't really recognize, and we have to go all the way back to that. All right. I do find it funny. It is hard to recognize, but they do reuse some of the portraits on the walls. So you can. It is funny just to imagine them owning several of the same painting to like look like a normal family. But yeah, it is interesting too, the randomization of whether you have to get the rod or the demon idol. The demon idol actually plays a pretty critical role in the second game. The rod itself doesn't. As far as I'm aware, it might be like hidden or something. It does beg the question, like, A, is the demon idol ending canon then, or would it be the rod ending because the demon idol wasn't important in the rod version? I don't know. I like to think the demon idol is the canon one. Here we are. It's a very cool design too. I believe there's actually some merchandise, like with a keychain with this thing on it for the release of Clock Tower Rewind. I kind of want one, even though it does look satanic in nature. I'm gonna run over here. All right, I believe we're now ready. That was pretty quick, all things considered. I don't need to use the perfume here. All right. So now we use the demon idol and place it on this little altar here. And there we go. Oh, there is one thing I just remembered that I almost forgot. I don't know which room it would be in, but there's one last very important thing for the S rank ending that you need to do. Here we are. It's not a requirement to free the rats, but I feel like I have to free the rats every playthrough. I don't think that does anything for you either. Now I think we're ready. So keep in mind, up to this point, we've only seen Dan die. We don't know the whereabouts of Laura and Lot currently. There's Miss Mary going through. I guess we don't need it yet. No, we need it. Sounds rough. There we go. So now, normally we would just go through here, but there is something that we do need to see, otherwise we would once again get another bad ending. So now we know where Lot is. That's all she has to say. So now Lot is presumed dead, which is unfortunate. There is no way to save Lot in this game. which is very unfortunate, and I wish there was some way that you could. Excuse me. I have a slight cold while recording this. Okay, here we are again with Dan Bears here. So one thing about Dan that is very interesting is that he's actually the explanation as to why there's so many supernatural things going on here, like the mirrors with hands coming out of them, or just any supernatural thing that happens, really. It's all kind of pinned on Dan, as he is kind of like, essentially like the generator of like the curses, like magic or something, I don't know. It's not necessarily the most clear. What's also interesting is that there is a exclusive scene in the PlayStation 1 version of this game, wherein once you light Dan up, as we're about to see, he burns away, but then he's kind of like left in this giant like puddle of mass, whereas like in this version he doesn't do that. And afterwards, when you are about to leave the room, you actually see a person emerge from that mass. I feel like this was definitely like a in hindsight thing, because Mary says like, "Oh, Dan is dead." But what this actually does is it kind of hints towards the Clock Tower 2 sequel. I won't go too much into depth for that, because I do intend on someday maybe playing the Clock Tower 2 game, and I don't want to spoil that quite yet. We'll go on through here. Last time I hit the second button, this time we'll hit the third. So now we see that Laura is here, which previously was not the case. So there you have it. So this is the best ending of the game. It's the only ending wherein you can survive and also another person. Depending on who you see die, you can actually save either Anne or Laura. Again, not Lot for some reason. Um, but yeah, there's no way to save all three or two of them, which kind of stinks, but no. But one's better than none. So yeah, unfortunately, this ending is not canon to the rest of the Clock Tower franchise. Everyone except Jennifer is dead in the sequel. Um, but yeah, this has been Clock Tower. I do hope to cover some other games in the future. I don't know if it'll be soon or later. I want to cover Septentrion or SOS, as I kind of talked about earlier. I also want to cover this game's sequel, Clock Tower, for the PlayStation 1, or Clock Tower 2. That one's a lot different, like, thematically compared to this game, in my opinion. It kind of shapes how the rest of the series goes from here on out. But I do really enjoy that one as well. I think it's a lot more cheesy, a lot more campy. It's definitely not my favorite game. I do believe this is my favorite game in the whole series. But regardless. I think it would be also fun to try out just some other games in the future that are very similar to Clock Tower, or maybe even some spiritual successors of the sort. I'm down for creepy games. I'm down for just good, cozy games. But yeah. I did have a lot of fun with this. I do think this is the game I definitely have, like, probably the most background knowledge of. I don't think I could rant about fun facts in most of the other Clock Tower games, and it would mostly just be me kind of playing it and describing what's going on, because I don't know much about the details of it or like the development behind it. Um, so yeah, if you all would be interested in that, let me know in the comments, or I might just make it anyway, even if no one cares. Um, but yeah, thank you all for coming to this. I'm surprised that anyone would bother watching all three of these videos, or just even this one to the end. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Yeah, take care. Watch out for deer.